From the Frank Beck Chevrolet Studio Annex. This is Time Out Overtime on the Time Out Overtime YouTube channel. I'm your host, Rick Arsenal. And before we go any further, if you haven't done so yet, if you would please get down there in that corner and smash the like and subscribe button. You'll be doing me a huge favor. Tigers playing the Yankees as we speak. Spencer Torkelson is back. Lions have a game in a couple of hours. We'll talk about that. So let's get started here. Time Out Overtime is sponsored in part by Frank Beck Chevrolet at M99 between Hillsdale and Jonesville. If it's time for a new-to-you vehicle, let the sales pros at Beck's help you choose the right vehicle. New or pre-owned, Beck's has the top selection in the tri-state area with over 200 vehicles in stock. Stop by and see for yourself, and when you're ready, ask for Russ McMorty, Chris Hodis, Danny Smith, Adam Schaefer, pardon me, Blake Bryant, Cameron Mincio, Bob Flynn, or Peyton Lucas. And when it comes time to service that new-to-you vehicle, let the service pros at Beck's fix it. Any make, any model, Ford or domestic, Beck's can fix it. And if you have a bit of a crunch or fender bender, Beck's Body Shop can put it back together just as good as new. So for all your automotive needs, look no further than Frank Beck Chevrolet at M99 between Hillsdale and Jonesville at 517-849-2886. Or on the web at frankbeckchevy.com. Come and experience the Frank Beck difference. Chevrolet, together, let's drive. I will be reminding you in a few minutes of as I have been doing a lot lately, a very special event which will be transpiring at Frank Beck Chevrolet in just a few weeks now on Saturday, September the 14th. Very special event out there as Beck Chevrolet honors our area's first responders. So I will be filling you in on all the details in just a few minutes. But Tigers are playing the Yankees as we speak. Came on the air here. They were batting at the bottom of the second inning, and they had a 2-0 lead over the Yankees. Pardon me. Spencer Torkelson is back. His first time up today. He did have a double. He scored a run. Funny how that worked out. We were on the air this morning. Of course, we had no knowledge of the breaking news that was just about to happen. And I think I better take a slug of water here. What? Kind of funny how that worked out. Andy and Jed and I were discussing this morning on the show. And time was it about 9:30, I think. And Jed happened to notice on his phone that breaking news, Spencer Torkelson had been called back up. And he would be in a lineup today. And unfortunately, for the umpteenth time, Akil Baddoo was rewarded for his game-winning hit the other day by being sent back down I-75 to Toledo. I don't know. We were wondering about that today, too. How many options does he have, this guy? Seems like he's back and forth, twice a month? He can make that 70-mile drive down I-75 blindfolded. He's been through there so many times. Anyway, he's been very good about it. I don't think he's complained one iota. He's been a real trooper about it. You just wonder where his career is at this time, though. Good athlete. Runs well. Never hit much for average, but you wonder how much longer Akil Badu will be with the Tigers. With Max Horizon on the horizon. And now you'd only have so many outfielders. Oh, anyway, we wish him luck at Toledo. And once the Mud Hen season is over with next month, he'll probably be back up here in Detroit again. Oh. Kyler Montero going for the Tigers today. I think I did mention, too, tomorrow's game with the Yankees will be played tomorrow night on ESPN. It is the Little League Classic from Williamsport, Pennsylvania. The Tigers will be the home team. I think they'll be wearing special hats or shoes or something. I don't know. Anyway. And, of course, Turk Is pitching tomorrow night. So, prior to the game, too, as a segue into that game involving the Tigers at 4 o'clock on ESPN, there will be a special documentary about the June 2nd, 2010 game at Comerica Park, the 28-out perfect game pitched by Armando Galarraga. And there will be a special documentary on that at ESPN tomorrow at 4. So you're probably going to want to see that if you have the time. I don't have ESPN, but I'll have to, maybe I can get it up later on YouTube or something. Anyway, I talked about this last time. Andy and I were, and James Ginsterbloom, who was working with us at the time, we're at the game the night before. Jeremy Bonderman was pitching, and the Tigers lost 4-2. In fact, I know he was. Obviously, little did we know what was going to be transpiring there 24 hours later. A lot of people forget about that game, too. What I remember about that game, it was, I think it was the shortest game in big league history, 1 hour and 36 minutes. And I do remember that the outstanding play that Austin Jackson made in center field. We've seen a lot of good highlights from Parker Meadows and Riley Green, but that play on that night, that play that Austin Jackson made on that night was pretty spectacular. And you kind of had a feeling after seeing that and after seeing him make that play that Galarraga was destined to make history that night. Well, as it turns out, he did, but in a rather dubious way, both for he and Jim Joyce. And as I said, too, I think Bud Selig, the worst commissioner in the history of the baseball, who recently celebrated his 90th birthday, by the way, could have made everything right the next day, but he didn't. So it is what it is, and of course that's one of the reasons. I think that's one of the main reasons now that we've got the challenge rule in effect, and unfortunate for all parties, but Armando Galarraga did something that night no pitcher has done before him, and no pitcher will ever do again. And that's pitch a 28-out perfect game. So 4 o'clock tomorrow on ESPN, prior to the Tiger-Yankee game at 7. And that's all I'm going to say about baseball right now. Of course, it was Friday afternoon that the Tigers recalled, they called up Jace Jung and Trey Sweeney from Toledo. Jung at third and Sweeney at short last night. Now, Sweeney is not playing today. Baez is playing shortstop. Why not bring him up now? You know, let's see what they've got. See what you've got going into next year. I totally agree with that move. Both players were Jung, as I mentioned before, was not hitting as well as he was before he got hurt. And he had committed 16 errors at shortstop down there. So uh, let's hope. I don't think the Tigers would have moved him over there if they didn't think he could handle it. So anyway, that's all we're going to say about baseball right now. Then we'll get into the Lion game here. As I mentioned before, mark your calendar for Saturday, September the 14th. Put it in your phone, put a big circle around that on your calendar, make an X through it, wherever you have to do. Saturday, September the 14th at Frank Beck Chevrolet, they will be celebrating their 9th annual salute to first responders. And this year, there will be a special tribute to the Hillsdale County Sheriff's Department, and rightfully so. So bring the kids, let them get up close to emergency vehicles, meet police and firefighters, play games, and more. There'll be a free lunch. You sign up for prizes as we celebrate our area's first responders. Plus, there will be a poker run as well. Again, that's Saturday, September the 14th, from 10 to 2 at Frank Beck Chevrolet at M99 between Hillsdale and Jonesville. I think you can get more info on the web at frankbeckchevy.com. Stop by and experience the Frank Beck difference, especially on Saturday, September the 14th. We will be doing the timeout show from out there. So if you're out there, I expect you to stop by and say hi. It will be a fun-filled day for the whole family. I can promise you that. Be a lot of fun. Let's hope we get a nice day weather-wise. Let's hope the weatherman cooperates as we, that'll be about, the 14th. That means we'll have about, we'll be on the cusp of the autumn season. And so the weather maybe should be a little cooler then, but you'll have a great time. Saturday, September the 14th, Frank Beck Chevrolet. You better be there. No excuses. Okay. Lions and Chiefs today, 4 o'clock from Arrowhead. Andy Reid has said that, Miggy, you're late. Mickey Jones is late. Come on in here, Miggy. I knew I was missing something. I can't do a show without you. Andy Reid has said earlier in the week that his starters are going to play the first half, and that includes Patrick Mahomes. Okay. I hope Dan Campbell is not that foolish. Oh, I do think you will see a few starters in there. Levi Muzarike, the defensive tackle, has been probably the most ballyhooed player in camp. Hopefully we see a lot of him today. See what he can do against the Chiefs starters, because DJ Reader is not going to be ready to start the season. Hang on just a second here. In fact, he may not be ready to go until October, from the looks of it. We have been given no timetable on DJ Reader, but it's almost a given right now, and he's not going to be ready for the start of the season on September the 8th. Well, pretty much your starting tackles will be on defense, Onwuzurike and Lee McNeil on the inside. Now, his defensive line coach, Terrell Williams, has said of Onwuzurike, he's capable of playing inside or outside on the edge, which means if he plays well, whenever Reader does come back, he can always move to the outside. This according to his coach, Terrell Williams. So, other players to watch today in the game, Hendon Hooker. I hope he starts. I haven't heard anything yet. We don't need to see any more of Nate Sudfeld. Jake Fromm is probably even worse than Sudfeld. These two guys, maybe they should open their own insurance agency, the Sudfeld Fromm Insurance Agency. Yeah. That's probably what they'd be more suitable for, because Neither one of them was very good. Fromm hasn't played in a couple of years. I think he had a short stint with both the Giants and the Commanders. But other than that, nothing. I don't know why they bothered to bring him in. Well, he or Nate Sudfeld. Fine, get him out of here. But what I was going to say, the importance of this is, if I were Campbell, if he can take it, if he can hack it, I would play Hooker at least a minimum of 3 quarters today. The game at Ford Field next Saturday against the Steelers, again, a minimum of 3 quarters. He needs the snaps. He needs the reps, because hopefully he won't be playing much during the regular season. You got to get him battle tested ready. We got to see what he can do. And he'll get a good test today against the Chiefs' first string defense. That's why I want to see him starting. I want to see what he can do against their first string defense. There's no point in starting Nate Sudfeld against the Chiefs' first string defense. We know what he can do. Lord, I thought when he blew his knee out last summer, we were all done with him, but they brought him back. I got a list of a few more people to keep an eye on here, but first, I want to put in a good word for a good man who, without his, would be doing this right now. That'd be Tim Lindley at Quality PC at downtown Hillsdale at 37 Walton Street. All your technical needs, go see Tim. Computers, flat screen TVs, internet providers, internet installation, printers, whatever it is, get in there and see Tim. And again, at 37 Walton Street, downtown Hillsdale. He is the best tech guy in our area. That's a couple hundred feet west of Howell. 517-610-5372, or again, 37 Walton Street. Get in there and see him. And when you do, tell him Rick and Mickey sent you. Thank you. I'm almost done here. I mentioned Hooker. Jake Bates, I want to see him kick again today outdoors. He did knock down a 53-yarder in the rain last week. Donovan Peoples-Jones. One of these wide receivers has to separate himself from the pack and say, I'm your guy. We haven't seen that yet. Maybe DPJ can do that today. Isaac Ukwu, the undrafted free agent out of Ole Miss, had a sack last week. Looked pretty darn good. Let's see how he looks against the Chiefs starting offensive line. Keep your eye on Isaac Ukwu today. And Levi Onwuzurike. I hope we see a lot of him today. Want to see what he can do against the Chiefs' first string offense. Finally, Isaiah Williams, the rookie free agent out of Illinois, who got in the game late last week in the fourth quarter, caught everything they threw to him. By the way, I think I might have told you before, Isaiah Williams, last 2 years at Illinois, led the Big Ten in receptions. His last 2 years there. Yeah, last year he caught 82 passes, 15 more than anybody else in the Big Ten. 4 o'clock today. Well, let's hope it's more of an enjoyable game to watch than we had last week. And let's hope that the Golden Tate says a little more this week than he did last week. I don't know what his issue was. He appeared to be nervous. Maybe he didn't even realize where he was, but he just didn't. Boy, between him and the play-by-play guy and the quality of the game, it all made for a bad watch, period. It wasn't very good. All right, that's about it. Are we done here? I think so. Don't forget the timeout show with Andy again next Saturday from 9 to 10. Andy and Jed. And I will be speaking to you again on Tuesday. We'll go over a game today. I'll take a few notes, write down things. We'll have a game review, and Yeah, well, that's about it. Tuesday. So until Tuesday, remember, treat each other with respect. Enjoy the game. And so long, everybody.